Law enforcement agencies are busy this holiday travel period. The Georgia Department of Safety says that officers arrested 259 drivers for DUI all across the state. DPS says that each one of those represents a driver who made the dangerous decision to get behind the wheel while impaired. There's been at least 22 crashes involving impaired drivers. Now, overall, there have been almost 200 reported crashes here in Georgia, and officers have addressed 433 distracted driving incidents. They've issued more than 500 seatbelt citations. The department says that the total fatality count for the holiday travel period as of today is at 9. And the world's busiest airport is a little busier than normal. During an 8-day stretch that ends on Wednesday, officials expect to see nearly 3 million travelers pass through Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Now, the weather across the country has not been very cooperative either, forcing delays and an already busy stretch.